getting into that black box, figuring out what actually happened, getting those real answers, and probably expect some really good stand.
All right, Sam, what are you watching for next?
They want to see what they find in those black boxes, what they find in the aircraft. We're going to be talking to crew members who brought that plane in. Were there any issues on that previous flight, or what are the maintenance records on board this plane? They are going to be looking at everything, and they're going to be wondering what happened with the crew. Was this their first flight of the day? Did they come from somewhere else? Were there any issues at all? They're going to be going through all of that, not just with investigators from India, but around the world.
Maggie Ruley, Tim Sweeney, John Nance, thank you all. And protests against immigration raids in California are spreading across the country. At least 30 people were arrested overnight during demonstrations in Spokane, Washington. The governor of Texas is deploying his state's National Guard, and there are protests expected this weekend. And in Los Angeles, police are enforcing a curfew for a second night with the National Guard and Marines on standby. Let's bring in Jacqueline Lee in LA, Maria Marion in San Antonio. Jacqueline, how did the second night of curfew go?
Hey Diane, so it went pretty well, but there were still clashes with police. There were hundreds of protesters marching in downtown LA yesterday, last night. They were blocking streets, and we know that there were several detained as a result of breaking that curfew. But Diane, there's still a lot to expect today. We know there's a hearing with a federal judge as California Governor Gavin Newsom is trying to block those federal troops from coming here. So we'll see how that hearing turns out. And then also the Marines, they are here in LA. They have been having civil unrest training, and they are expected to deploy here on the streets of Los Angeles within the next 48 hours. Diane.
All right, Maria. Maria, the governor of Texas deployed the National Guard ahead of peaceful protests there overnight. What's the latest there now?
It's interesting. We actually spoke with the mayor before yesterday's protest, and he basically said there was no coordination between the state, the governor's office, Abbott's office, and any local city leaders. And for them, they knew that there was going to be this smaller protest overnight leading into the weekend. They felt very prepared. They had their tactical teams out here last night. So definitely a level of frustration that